This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club. Be a part of the community and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Loose mashing a batch of beer, using a Y splitter instead of an air manifold, and making two styles of beer from one single mash. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 395. Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, watching or listening at home, have a question that you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, you could call it in. Leave a voicemail to 325-305-6107. And when I use your question or feedback, preferably a voicemail question, on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Pretty stinking good, if you ask me. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing, joined as always by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the President and Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com over there, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, bienvenue! That was my French for, I think the Olympics are wrapping up this week. I haven't actually I watched Greco wrestling this week and freestyle wrestling. I've been watching that. I missed out on judo last week. Too much work to be done. Have y'all been watching the Olympics at all? Have you, Todd? I know the answer to that. I would say neither one of you are huge sport. I know, James, you'll watch football if it's on, but you don't go out of your way. Yeah.
I look at the medal count every once in a while just to see if we're still winning.
Does that get you hyper patriotic? Nothing like beating.
Yeah.
Nothing like.
I have been following the medal count. We're still ahead. I mean, we're tied with China, but overall
they just pulled in front of us again.
The overall count is
overall we're slaying them, but a lot of people just look at the gold medals. So.
No, I don't. No, it's cumulative, baby. I'm not a gold medal type of guy. I could be a bronze medal type of guy in some situations. Gold, it's asking a lot. But no, I haven't been watching.
You're too old to win a bronze medal.
Oh yeah, I'm ancient in athletic competition. I'm 38. Yeah. That's ancient. No, this is a young person's game. You know, I say that how old was the Cuban guy in Greco who just won? He won his 5th gold in a row. 5 Olympic games. That's 20 years of dominance. He's 40 something years old. Total dominance. You would have to be a heavyweight wrestler and I even say that, a steroid abusing probably, which they all are. I'm not judging you, Cuba, our Cuban fans, the 2 people who might listen to us in that country. Actually, I bet you 0 people listen to us in Cuba, but I've never done the analytics on that part of the world, but I'd be willing to bet $5 to Todd that nobody in Cuba listens. But yeah, those guys, they do have good genetics. There's one of my favorite Cuban judokas who is a MMA fighter too, Yoel Romero. He's like 44 and he's just jacked to the gills, and I think he's still fighting. He got cut from the UFC. But either way, I'm digressing more than usual at the top of the show.
I actually completely stopped listening to you at some point during that. I was looking at it.
I get it. Yeah, you're like my wife.
I can't imagine how bad it was for our listeners.
They're hitting forward. Skip 10 seconds. Skip 10 seconds. Yeah, I understand. I see the feedback. Let me get through the small talk, and then we do have 3 questions for you all this week, including 2 voicemails. So I will start off by saying, though, I like to try to do 2 voicemails at least a week. We're still low. People are sending voicemails in. Some of them are redundant, like to questions we've taken recent. If there are questions on topics we haven't discussed in a long time, yeah, I'll bring it back around. We're almost at 400 episodes. Y'all think we haven't touched on the same subject at least once? Of course we have. You cannot do 400 episodes without rehashing.
We've gotten so much smarter since episode 1 that we
speak for yourself. Yeah, speak for yourself, pal. But but also, like Horst did say, though, when we had him on recently, things changed. Come February of next year, it'll be 10 years of Homebrew Happy Hour, and we probably actually do have different opinions on certain things in how we brew.
I definitely do. Yeah, I've changed my opinion on things.
I'm talking about for brewing, not about me.
Yeah.
But the way
my opinion on you stayed consistent over the years, actually.
The one consistent thing. No, but it is true. I mean, even little things like your forced carbonation video, Todd, we got to reshoot because
we do.
Yeah, there's just
that's not how I do it anymore.
It is not how you do. And that one is one of our more popular videos, I think, too. So it would do well. Even the period or the way we clean, or there's things that have changed, my friends. That's what I'm getting at. So submitting a voicemail question to our hotline is more than likely guaranteed to get you on the show, even if it is something we've discussed in the past, if it's long enough. And, I do spend a good amount of time 1 day a week vetting through questions and seeing what have we done recently and this and blah, blah, blah. So let me do the work. You just submit the questions. And at best, I take your question and you get a gift card. So win.
So what old, tired, over answered questions do we have today then after all that?
Hold on, I'll get to them. Let me first and foremost, Alt-Pokal. Let me see if I have that. There we go. Boom. Alt-Pokal 2024, the Altbier World Championships are coming up. October 24th is day 1. You can register. Just go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on Alt-Pokal at the top. The link or the URL altpokal.com should work. But sometimes it's been timing out for people. So just go to homebrewhappyhour.com. In the top navigation, you'll see Alt-Pokal. Click on that. All the rules are there. The registration form, you click on that, fill it out. We have gotten stagnated entries to it, which is fine. Someone asked me where we were at, and I said, even if we only had half of what we were expecting, that's going to just shorten our workload in regards to judging. We might actually be able to get it done in a day if enough people, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But my point being, you could go to altpokal.com or homebrewhappyhour.com in the top navigation, click there, sign up if you want. You still got time if you haven't brewed it yet, but you really are kind of pushing it. We're we're not. It's August 8th.
I think Alt's just not as well known. I think IPA Pokal is what we should do next.
Oh, no. Do you do your own event like you're going to do your own episode one day. I'm not doing IPA Pokal. Didn't even roll off the tongue that great. But
truthfully, Todd, you probably got something there. I mean, it would probably be a lot of max entries if we did do that.
You're right.
I can't imagine judging one, but I would do it.
Oh, our pale Pale Pokal. How about
Pale Pokal. And Pokal is a German word. I'll come up with alliteration for whatever it is. Okay, we'll see after.
I like Pale Pokal. That's what I want to do.
God, I hate you. But I also want to keep the Alt-Pokal going, at least because I like trolling the Germans. I've gotten a few DMs from German friends who are like, "How is it the World Championships? Oh my God, this and you're not into it." I'm like, "Oh no, we are, dude. We're Americans. It is what we say it is because that's the way it is. So deal with it." We are. What is the T-shirt that I've seen before where people they wear World War champs back to back or whatever with a big USA flag? It's like, deal with it. We're the top. Anyway, going a little too deep there. So Alt-Pokal is coming up. You can still register. Got that through. Oh, if you are a member of the patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour Chub Club at a recipe receiving level this month, in case you've been under a rock, you're going to get, nope, that's Brew Day Live. Boom. Todd's ESB, a delicious ESB. One of my, dare I say, favorite recipes that is not a Kolsch or an Alt. Not just to brew, but to enjoy, to drink. It is such a good style. And this recipe, I've said it before on the show. I think I said it last week. When James and Todd did this, and of all systems on the cooler brew, that is still, by my memory, one of the absolute best batches of beer ever brewed.
Oh, yeah.
It was stupid good. I mean, it was so crisp and clean. And what is probably the most popular ESB people can get? Would it like Old Speckled Hen? Or what would be the most popular?
I would say Samuel Smith's.
Is it? Oh, and
it's the only one you can ever find at Specs or Total Wine More.
Well, and I know
I have some right now. They had it on clearance a while back, and I bought like four packs.
Is that the same brewery that's real known for? Is it a porter or a stout? What is the? I've seen them in your fridge before, Todd. But in Old Speckled Hen and ESB, or am I totally lying right now and have to cut it out?
I've had Old Speckled Hen.
I don't have the ability to Google right now. My computer's consumed.
There's nothing better than an Old Speckled Hen with a spotted dick, I always say. What?
Nothing. That's
you don't like spotted dick or what?
That's going to be the sound clip that I use for our social media this week. It's like, you heard it from straight from the horse's mouth. Nothing's better.
Fuller's London Pride is #1 according to this article on the internet.
But I now someone's going to message if the Old Speckled Hen's not an ESB, you idiot. And now that I think about it, I've had it on Nitro. Well, you can have any style on Nitro. That doesn't make it too true to the style or not. By the way, Todd's had it before in his fridge multiple times.
It's a fine ale, according to this. Yeah, I don't really know what that means. Yeah.
It said
English fine ale.
English Pale Ale is what I'm looking at.
Oh, it's an EPA, not an ESB. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not that embarrassed. I won't edit that out. But anyway,
this is their Pale Ale and not the other one.
What was the one you named though, James? Because I wanted to. People always ask us when we do the recipes, I've never had it before. What is a commercial example so I know what it should taste like? And for the ESB, I've been steering people wrong. It appears. What was the first one you said though?
This is most popular, so it's not. It said that it was the Fuller's London Pride.
I've had that in the airport in London.
So Fuller's, yeah, we know. Okay. And Fuller's is very popular. I believe they distribute here. So people should be able to find that. And if you can't, sorry. It wouldn't be the.
I had an Old Speckled Hen in at the airport. If you remember, Todd, we had it on a beer engine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Oh, we had I've had it several times in the airport there before I stopped flying through there. And then last time I was there with my family, with incredible jet lag, I went to a pub while they were sleeping after I told them not to fall asleep. And and I stayed there for like 2 hours and drank all these 4% beers. And wow, it was like I was drinking 10% beers. I was so jet lagged. But it was really good to have all those different beers on the beer engines. And I told you the last time I went through the airport was just a few weeks ago. And when I went through London and I stayed in a hotel, I was so excited. They had a big bar, and I go in there, and it was like Miller, Budweiser.
Only be funnier if it was Budweiser on a beer engine. That would be hilarious. Like, oh yeah, authentic English Bud. Now remind me, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. The beer engine lessens the carbonation because like you're gonna have
that doesn't lessen it. It's just
it just serves low carbonated cask beer.
Okay, that's what
for the
it
most
is.
part.
Okay,
so they don't ever. There's no added it's just naturally carbonated, and you have to serve it quickly or it'll go flat.
gotcha. And so then also though, is the temperature cellar temps or is it like
Usually, yeah.
Okay. I've only had beer engine beer. I don't remember. Well, no, the only time I've been through London Heathrow was when the three of us went to.
We drank beer that time. Remember?
No, we didn't. We sprinted to our gate. Remember, James?
Oh, that's right. That's the time where we had to sprint.
James and I literally
we were confident you were going to miss the flight. I just almost threw up from running.
Oh yeah, I would have bet James $5 Todd wasn't going to make his flight because we barely made it. And then we're boarded, and I thought they closed it, and all of a sudden Todd is texting us a photo of the menu for his business class seat. It was like
somebody gave him a ride.
100%. Todd, I don't know if you've ever fessed up to it.
You guys just have. Y'all don't realize how fast I am when I'm actually running. I just don't run a lot.
Dude, okay, then you have those shoes with the built-in skates. Yeah, you were skating on those shoes that have them built in. Either way, you could go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join a recipe receiving tier, and get this delicious Todd's ESB shipped out to you the last week of the month. Thank you to our sponsors, Muntons Malt, hopsdirect.com, and of course, Imperial Yeast for supporting everything we do. Not just the monthly recipes, but like I said, the Alt-Pokal, all the competitions, in our personal brewing. I can't speak highly enough about our sponsors for how they take care of us. They really do. We sincerely appreciate them. And if you're a member of our patreon.com/homebrew happy hour Trub Club, that's a mouthful. If you're a member there, we sincerely appreciate you because we literally couldn't do this without you. I promise Todd would cut this like that if it weren't for y'all. So thank you so much for all your support. And then the last thing I do have to say, because my dad and I have committed every month to doing brew days of the Trub Club recipe, is Brew Day Live is coming up kind of last Friday of the month, August 30th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Central. Go to youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button and be alerted when we publish videos, or even better, when we go live like Brew Day Live. So this month it is going to be on Friday, August 30th, 10 a.m. Central. Come join the fun at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. Got through the small talk, not record time. I'm not going to try to do that anymore.
I think that's the longest. That's
damn near.
I stopped listening like 4 times.
I'm good at doing that. So with all the small talk out of the way, let me.
It's time for listener feedback.
If y'all saw the notes I'd sent you, the first question is sort of a combo. He does have feedback and a question, so I'm going to get to that after the gong of questions. I'm not ever letting this go. Someone replied to me with a very angry thing about the gong. I'm like, Todd, guys, don't tell me what you don't like, because you can't tell me what to do. Our first question /
I like the gong. I don't know why people don't like it.
Okay, perfect. Our first feedback / question combo. It's our buddy Nate from Arizona.
Hey, what's cracking, Homebrew Happy Hour? This is Nate from Arizona. I'm calling in regards to a question and some feedback, actually. So if you're compelled to take my rambling voice here, perhaps I'm worthy of either or. No, calling in regards to this July episode, late July. You guys were talking about rice holes as far as efficiency with brewing systems. But as far as mash cooler system too, it also works good for those too. I've had some. We're even using the cooler style system with. I've had some issues with the stuck sparges before, and even on the first running before you recirculate, I still think if you have a lot of wheat in there, I still see it get real gummed up, and I've had to use my mash stick and stir it around, and then you get little floaties that are coming in more. So I do feel like the rice holes are helpful on the non-system based mashing system as well. Also, in regards to the question, I've been making some ginger ales lately, which are very low ABV. I just used some extra malt. I just literally 3.5 pounds for like a 5-gallon batch. I'm making like these 2.5 session ginger ales with a little bit of honey. But my question is, I'm doing those loosely, mashing them like on top of the stove. And I have a bag. I can do a brew in a bag method, but it's so little grain that I've just been crushing them, throwing them in a pot with the right amount of water. And I've just been doing kind of decoction mashing. So I feel like I'm trying to get the most out of this little bit of grain, to make these little session ginger beers. And it gives them a good beer quality. And I feel like I'll start like protein rest or something like that and decoction, mash it up to like a higher temperature just by using the burner, and I'll stir it continuously. But anyway, I know I'm taking a long time to get this, but my point is, have you guys heard about doing any loose mashing, and is there any negative effects? I haven't noticed it on this size scale, but maybe if I do a full beer this way, it wouldn't work good. I was just curious because I have a brother in Washington State, and we've done a couple remote brew sessions together, and I was just curious if it's a feasible option or what the negatives might be. But yeah, basically I mash it on the stove, bring it up to my different temps, strike out and all that, and I basically take the loose grains that are floating around water, then plop them into a strainer, and then just kind of rinse it with water. It's a makeshift kind of sparge thing. So just curious on what you guys' feelings are about that, for people that don't have even a bag or something to brew something in. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Josh is the bomb as always, and appreciate you guys' show and everything. Have a good one.
It's true, Nate. No truer words have been spoken. Thank you so much for the feedback and for the question. First, on the feedback, rice hulls, it made sense that they would make sense for all systems because Stutz sparging is not unique to systems that have recirculation. It can happen anywhere, assuming you're doing a sparge. But to his question, I had to actually Google it in the 16 or whatever years I've been in the industry. James, I confess, never heard of loose mashing before.
I haven't either.
Google
Google
tells me loose mashing in beer brewing is a mash that is thinner, which can allow for better grain extraction and starch conversion. However, thicker mashes are more efficient in the sparge and would make up for any losses in efficiency from the mash, which made sense. I've never not sparged. I've always, done, 169 or whatever for half an hour or however long it takes. Actually, my pop and I never takes more than like 15, 20 minutes, but in theory, so we always hit our numbers and never worry about it. But the loose mashing, I know you just said you weren't familiar with it, but do you see any issues besides it sounding like a lot more work to be done in a bigger batch? On smaller batches, this kind of stuff is less labor intensive, literally because of the volume or quantity of ingredients you're doing. But on a big, like if you're doing a 15-gallon batch, loose mashing seems like it would not be super enjoyable.
Well, I would think the biggest issue when you're doing anything like that would be volume of your pot or your mash kettle or whatever, because you only have room for so much wort. But I have done pretty much that same thing when I was doing partial or extract with mini mash on the stove. But no, I with the kind of system that we use here at work and Todd has is, you do a 1.5 to 1 water to grain ratio. I would consider this, as long as that water goes up, then that would be considered the same thing, right? I mean, you're just thinning all that out. It promotes for good circulation through the grain bed along with the rice hulls, of course, because you want the water to hit every piece of grain as it's traveling from the top to the bottom through the false bottom. So that's going to affect the efficiency too. We can extract more sugars if we can hit every grain. The only way we're going to do that is to get it to go through the grain equally from top to bottom. So that's the one thing that the rice hulls certainly help do. As far as the mash out and the sparge, I can see how if you're running a thicker water doer, like a 1.1 to 1 or 1.5 to 1 or anything around 1.5 is standard of what we do. And I'm sure that's what you do, Todd. But if you're talking about like 2 to 1, as long as you have that much room in your boil kettle, you can always boil it down to gravity if that's your goal, hitting a certain gravity profile. But I don't know how it would affect. At the end of the day, you're wanting a certain batch size and gravity for your beer. as long as you can hit those numbers, I don't really think it matters how you do it, right?
I think you just nailed it. What I was going for, as well as like, as long as you hit the numbers at the end that you were going for with that batch, who cares how you got there, right? Todd, I know obviously you've never loose smashed, but let's assume, because he's saying this is obviously a technique you would do when you didn't have the equipment that we have. Like, I don't think, Todd, you would go out of your way to try this method, would you?
Yeah, I think James covered it so well. I actually have a question. So I'm more interested in this ginger ale, ginger beer. I mean, I've had ginger ale, of course, and I've had a ginger beer before, but I like this idea of like 3%. What did he say? Between 2 and 3%?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
I mean, wow, that'd be kind of a cool thing to make for the pool that was refreshing and had a little bit of alcohol, but not very much. I've never done one before. I'd love to have his whole recipe. I guess he kind of gave it.
That'd be like what would they call that? A session ginger ale or a hard session ginger ale?
A hard, right?
That low percentage. Yeah, that'd be great by the pool.
Ginger.
Yeah, that. I would love to. If anybody out there has a recipe that has, because what I've always seen is that it's either like 0.05, which or less, which is considered non-alcoholic in the industry, I think, or it's been like 5%. But I like this idea. I bet it would taste good too, especially if you use some fresh ginger. And wow, I'd love to try that sometime. If anybody, if he has more feedback or has,
you want me to have him email you? I'll give him your. Oh, he has your email.
Yeah, or anybody out there that we've got thousands of listeners. So if one of them has done that and has a good recipe, I'd love to know more about it.
And even though they're not an official sponsor, I will throw a bone out there. I bet you if you went to brewersfriend.com, Todd, you would find a recipe or two in their database of ginger ale there.
I'm going to do that right now instead of participating in the podcast.
I'm going to plan out my ginger ale. It's so funny that you... you're right. It's a pool beer for a specific thing, because normally you're not looking for low ABV stuff in the barn. I think one time, what was the recipe you chastised me for picking? Was it the table beer? It was English mild.
I've never chastised you.
I think it was the English mild. The original version of it was like 3.6, and you're like, "There's no reason not to bump that up. I don't want less than 4. I don't want less than 4." It was something like that.
That seems like a reasonable request.
Yeah.
At the pool, I sometimes. I just want to have something refreshing, and it's hot outside, and that might be fun to try.
I'm surprised you don't have sparkling water up there. Like, for me to take the gin up there.
I need to.
You do.
One of those things. Yeah.
You would not believe how much sparkling water I go through, James, at the ranch. It's incredible. I'm sure other people drink it too, Todd, but
I drink it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably.
Maybe we ought to think about a chiller and a carbonator and just have it.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
On tap, you wouldn't have to do anything.
You are speaking my language, dude. Because
the water out there has such a great mineral profile already. You wouldn't even really have to add minerals to it.
Yeah, confession.
I like that. Don't we have something? We already have a carbonator, don't we?
No, I sold it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We get another one from Upright. For sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't imagine they're cheap. They're probably expensive.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I can't imagine they are. But Nate, I'm trying to see. I don't want to drag it out, but I guess what we got from this question is if you hit your numbers, who cares how you do it? There probably is not going to be any negative effects on your beer, assuming you are in the range that you want it to be for your gravity. And everybody give us feedback for a ginger ale recipe for Todd.
Absolutely.
He's going to search databases, but there's something about a personal vouching that gives something more credibility than just an internet link.
I agree. Absolutely agree. I agreed with you. That's great.
Mark it down. Episode 395. It only took 395 episodes for Todd to agree with me. But anyways, Nate, thank you so much for sending that voicemail. A reminder, guys, when you call 325-305-6107, leave a voicemail question. You could do feedback, but preferably a question. I'll use it on a future episode, and you'll get a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Alternatively, you could text that same number and still get a $15 gift card, which is pretty good. Call it in, though. We love hearing your voice. Moving on to question number 2, our buddy Vince did text in, and he wrote, Todd. He specifically addressed Todd. Todd, if I want to be a cheap butt, he didn't say butt, and not spend money on a Keg Connection air distributor, what are the downsides to using a cheap Y splitter downline in my teaser? The downside is you're not supporting a mom and pop shop by spending more money. No, kidding aside, Todd, what are the advantages of a proper air manifold with check valves on it and the way we pretty them up at Keg Connection versus just, saving money and putting Ys as you expand your air distributing needs?
Well, I mean, if all you're running is 2 lines, there's no reason you couldn't do that. I mean, we usually do it at the regulator, but you could certainly take a Y and then have the back of it is 1/4 inch mill pipe thread. So you just screw a nipple to it. I mean, I don't know how much it's going to save you by the time you put the 2 valves on it. It would be marginal, but you would save a little bit. The only disadvantage is you wouldn't it doesn't have mounting brackets.
Well, and also though, with the caveat that your regulator has a check valve coming off of it already. Like you would agree with that, right? Like you wouldn't do any line installation without a check valve being somewhere.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying though. With the Y, you'd want valves on it because you'd want to be able to turn the gas on and off to the 2 liquids.
He's talking about a single he's talking about a line. So here's my regulator and 1 line coming off and just one of those cheap little chrome
you mean just the plain Ys, not the ones with the valves on it.
Correct.
Oh yeah, the disadvantages would be there's no valve, so you can't ever turn the one side off. You definitely would want a regulator with a check valve, and I mean really the 2 disadvantages are mounting bracket. But the big one is not being able to turn it off. I turn, if I'm not using a side, I turn it off because, that's where leaks happen. And I just don't, there's no reason to keep it on. So I like to turn it off.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't think you understood it and not dogging on you. I'm just saying, cause I know you would never recommend a system that didn't have a check valve on it somewhere so if he was going to do that cheapo way, of a down line to go from 1 line to 2 kegs, as long as you're regular.
We sell those. It's fine.
Yeah. No, totally.
I did it on my first dual system. I just went to the hardware store and got a Y and just put it in line. But like Todd says, you can't shut one side off if you've got an empty keg. And then, of course, next thing you know, you're out of CO2 and you wonder why.
Oh, good point.
CO2, yeah. You can't shut off individual ones. You have to shut it all off or all on. Yeah,
that's a really good point. You're right. There, if there was a leak off of either one of those, you're screwed. I mean, where like you said too, it's very rare that your 2 kegs that you have go out at the same time, but you're not gonna. I guess the disconnect in theory that's off of the other line would stop it flowing when you take it off the keg like that. It would.
Yeah, I mean, it would work fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with it.
Right. We're just talking tidbits of pros and cons. Where the pro, you save some money. The con is it worth the savings when you have that much less control over the individual lines? I guess that's my forward thinking, or what's at the forefront of my brain for a con would be like, no, I want to be able to control each individual one because it does help with troubleshooting if there's a leak. It does help with just being able to shut it off if you're not using that other line. And I find for me, manifolds, at the end of the day, he said he had a keezer. So keezers more times than not give you room to expand your system. You're going to spend the money at some point. If you start off with just a Y and you have 2, you're going to at some point going to have to change out that whole line to add more Ys, or when you do a air distributor or whatever, where if you got a manifold at the front, you can always modularly add to a manifold to make a 2 into a 3, a 2 into a 4, or whatever.
Well, you could do that with Ys too. You just keep adding Ys.
You do, right? I'm just saying that, but you're it becomes a Frankenstein system at that point. That gas line.
But you could do it this way. you could use a Y and a barbed fitting and just put it in down line in the line and still be able to shut it off.
Ah, there you go. And that would still save you some money, and it would give you some control. Yeah. Todd, I'm trying to sell more air manifolds, man. Quit arguing with me.
No, it was funny you said that. I was just going to say this cheapskate doesn't care if it looks like it's Frankenstein.
Here's what I do, guys, to expand my system. I go up to headquarters. I say, Todd, look over there. And then I put stuff in my backpack, and then I go home and install it. That's the Stubing method of kegerator expansion.
He spends very little money at all.
I'll do a YouTube video.
Some say it's free.
Some say it's free. I'm going to do a YouTube video. Here, hey guys, Josh here with Homebrew Happy Hour. I'm going to show you how to expand your kegerator on the cheap, and then just driving up to headquarters. No, but kidding aside, I understand Vince's concerns of spending money, because the hobby we're in of brewing beer and serving craft beer and all that can be a money pit pretty easy. It's pretty, there's technologies out there from companies, wonderful companies that are selling stuff. You see them in your Facebook ads, you see them in your Google ads, and you're like, oh my God, I got to have that. And you can spend money quick. So looking for places to save money, I totally understand. I'm not going to judge anyone for that, but you do, for me, just certain things make your system more future proof if you're going to expand or whatever. But just know what you're getting into. And like James said, that was the way he did it at first. Your priority was serving your beer more than it was spending money on stuff that you didn't need at the time. And now, though,
I think my biggest consideration at that time was what the hardware store had.
Oh, right. Well, now on your home setup, you have four taps. How many do you have?
I have 3, but I have a 4-way manifold, and so I'm able to have one setting on gas and 3 on tap.
Right, and it off of the manifold. Yeah,
and I can actually get 4 or 5 gallon kegs inside my little fridge. I made a little stepped shelf, and it's tight. Don't get me wrong; it fits in there super tight, but it fits.
Nice. And I know it's been a while since I followed up with you. Do you have anything on tap yet?
I have pills.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. The last one you did, or okay. I didn't know if you kegged it. I did.
I have it on tap as well.
Is it the same batch, Todd, that you've already had on tap?
No, it's just got on tap. It's good.
Okay.
It needs to condition a little longer.
I didn't know the last time you brewed. I did. I don't remember if I told you when the yeast arrived. I had them send pouches of Harvest for you from Imperial. And
awesome.
I put them in there, but they're not the bots normally has them, and I know that's where you'll find them. They're on the bottom shelf. So when you brew, what I'm getting at is you should brew again. And I got the yeast so that you can brew again. So you should brew again.
I may do that. I'm going to do a batch tomorrow.
Todd needs to brew as well. What's up with that, dude? It's been a while since you've brewed.
He's been busy.
Yeah. But come on, man! Both y'all. What?
My wife won't let me brew. She says every time I brew, it messes my back up. So she's been on me about it. But I mean, obviously, she'd let me brew. I just need to brew. I'm almost to the wire. I'm brewing something for my dad's birthday party, like another Kolsch maybe in a row, because
I've got.
That would finish so quick.
I'll bring you. Yeah. I have a keg. I have 2 kegs for you, dude. What was last month's recipe? I have a keg of the grapefruit that I just kegged was last month's, but was 2 months ago. Was it the Alt?
Anyway,
but I'm saying the grapefruit pale ale might be good for the pool. That might be a good addition up there. But anyways, Vince, thank you so much for submitting the question. Guys, as always, I solicit your feedback in the comments specifically. If you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, leave them there. While you're here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, everything, all of that stuff, and your comments greatly help us with the algorithm. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel. And I say that we publish these. If I was really trying to grow it, I'd spend more time on bi-weekly content or 3 videos a week of other stuff, but we're all busy people. But your support is greatly appreciated. Or if you have great feedback you think we'd use on a future episode, call it in to 325-305-6107 and get yourself a $25 gift card. Like our third and final question is our last for the show, and it's a voicemail, our buddy Zach from Michigan.
Hey guys, Zach from Michigan. Hope you guys are surviving the summer heat down there. My wife really likes dark beers, and I enjoy them as well, but I hate tying up 2 taps out of my 3 with stouts and porters. And I would like to get more efficient with my brewing. What I'm wondering is if there's a way that I could do a 10-gallon mash for pale ale or wheat or something that would be lighter, and then divide off 5 gallons and do something like steeping grains or something to be able to get a stout or porter out of that mash, and essentially get 2 beers out of 1 mash. That way I could have 5 gallons of both and not have 2 similar styles, because I know there's ways of doing party guile and things like that, but that would be very similar beers, just different strengths. I would like to have 2 very different styles. My best guess would be, using steeping grains. If you guys have any recipe ideas, at least recipe design for going about that, both me and my wife would greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys.
This show exists for the wives of the home brewer. Really, that's what we're here for.
That's a great question, actually.
It is a great question.
I love this question.
And so, well, I'm going to throw it to James first in regards to what. So I was going to say, I obviously didn't listen to the whole thing beforehand. I was going to go, I don't think this qualifies for party guile. And he already addressed that. It's not truly party guile, where it would be using the spent grains to try to get a lower ABV beer from those same ones. Off the top of my head, James, I can't think of a pale ale grain bill, and how different or similar it would be to a porter off the top of my head. I think the base malt in general, right, would be different. But what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be an odd recipe. But if I was going to do it, what I would do is I would do the base malt first, and then just do yield enough for the base malt, and then do the steeping grains. You wouldn't have to do anything else with the pale one, other than just boil it, add your hops, and pitch your yeast, cool it down, pitch your yeast. But on the other one, collect it in another vessel, keep it cold, because that's sugar water, and it won't take long for bugs to get in it. Keep it cold, and then you could steep some roasted malt and all the other stuff that you could do. And just keep in mind, a lot of stouts like to use Maris Otter. It has some characteristics that give the stout flavor, but you could definitely do something. You could do like a hybrid stout off that base pale ale malt, and I'm talking the liquid. So go ahead and mash it out and have 10 gallons of liquid. 5, go ahead and do the boil, pitch your hops, cool it down, pitch your yeast, ferment, and then take the other one, boil it, get it ready to boil. And then you could steep some roasted malt, or you could even add that in. If you've got a system like ours, it kind of seems like it would be a little redundant. I don't know if you'd be saving any time.
That's what I was just about to ask. Yeah. Well, I was about to ask, like, what if, or hear me out, you just do double brew day in 5-gallon batches. Like that's almost what I would do, just to make sure none of the steps I took messed it up. It would probably add literally more work to my brew day, but that is what I would do because I'm not confident in my abilities to not mess something up. But Todd, like the steeping grains, anything that's not a base malt can technically be thrown into a steeping bag, right? And achieve some flavors and color from that way. Can you at a 5-gallon batch? I guess it wouldn't be a ton, but you would be having to bag, and let's say the whole grain bill for your stout is going to end up being, what's an average grain bill for a 5-gallon recipe on a stout? Like 11 pounds?
About 5 pounds of grain.
Of steeping, right? Of steeping, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, total grain bill, if it's all malt, like but if it's an extract, you could add, pound or 2 of whatever. But
do they?
I think at the end of the day, if you put a clock on it, it'd probably be more work than just doing 2 separate batches.
Here's a dumb question for you. Munton's people listening are like, you should know the answer to this. Do they make specialty grain extracts? Is that a thing?
I mean, they make. I'm sure somebody does. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, I'm just never.
I know they make the base malt.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, but I don't know if I've ever shopped for like Carafa 3 extract. I mean, so it's such a little.
I've never seen that. I mean, when you're talking about roasted malt extracts,
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
see what
somebody
you're
does.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Total specialty. Yeah, like the things that would be a tiny little like chocolate malt extract. Like your chocolate malt. I think my pop and I in our breakfast stout, the chocolate malt is like 1% of the recipe. I'm
Use it less. I mean, I use chocolate malt very sparingly.
right,
because
sparingly.
Little goes a long way.
It goes a very long way, absolutely, and it's just for the color mostly, isn't it? Or I mean, also the flavor, but
No, it imparts some flavor too. But one of the biggest things that I do, and I haven't done a stout in forever. You're the stout guy, but I mash at a higher. I mash primarily in the alpha range, and like when I'm doing lighter beers, I like to do the more in the beta or split it up. But if you're not minding a little bigger bodied beer for the ale, then you can mash that all at the same time. I just don't know if you would be saving any efficiency that way.
yeah. But let's say like Todd, we
I have an opinion.
that's what I'm throwing it to. Okay, you know what?
You
don't
keep
even
asking me questions.
You don't even need my
question.
segue. Okay, I'm not even going to segue for you, Todd. Hey, Todd, what's your opinion?
What I would do is I would get 2 boil vessels, and I would go ahead and do everything to get your 10 gallons, and then split it into 2 boil vessels. Put your steeping, one of them's done. You don't have to do anything else. The other one, you put your steeping grains in, you do your hop additions for the 2 different styles of beer, and really you could end up with really exactly what he wants, I think. Those 2 completely separate beers in close to the same amount of time if you had a double burner like propane, or you could do it on the kitchen top table, I guess, too. But if you were real serious about doing this and you were going to do it all the time, you'd probably want 2 oil kettles that would allow you to do 2 completely different 5-gallon batches, and just take that base, add your steeping grains for the stout or the porter, whatever dark beer you want to do. And the recipes aren't really that different until you get to the steeping grains. So I don't think it would be difficult.
Okay, so what you're saying is your mashing vessel, which has it all, and then you're going to have the 2 boil kettles.
Mm-hmm.
And which one would you fill first? Would you, because obviously
it doesn't matter.
I know, but so hear me out though. If I was doing an extract kit, I would steep first.
Not an extract.
No, a party mash. I mean a partial mash. I'm saying back in the day of doing partial mash, your first step, your actual mash is already completed through the extract you're using. So you're steeping in a quart or 2 or whatever it was. I'm saying, would you do that step during the mash to get it out of the way? So then whenever the mash is done, you take out your steep, you then sparge.
No, I do exactly what I said. I would go straight. I would take the 2 beers, put them in the boil kettle. Just like right now, I go from this kettle to the boil kettle.
So you'd steep after?
I would do yes.
Okay,
I would do
okay.
exactly the same thing. I would take them. I would put them in 2 kettles. That's what I said earlier. One, you don't do anything to. The other one, you do your you do your mash with.
Okay, so I was just asking if it mattered.
And then you do your hop schedule.
So it doesn't matter to steep into the mash, the wort.
No, you're just adding to the flavor of that.
Okay. That was my main question. Like, oh crap! In a partial mash, you always steep first, and then you get up to volume and add your extract and all that jazz. So in this case, you'd fill the 2 with the volumes, and then you'd steep in the stout one, your specialty grains.
Yeah, the other one's done, so you could actually
what about sparge?
Even start your boil on one if you wanted to. What do you mean? What about?
I'm saying you would when you're transferring.
You would do it just like you do now, just like I do now. I don't sparge in my boil kettle. I sparge in the.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you're sparging into the 2 boil kettles. You're not just going from mash. I'm saying this.
No, right. Just exactly. I mean, the reason I'm being vague is that everybody uses a different system, so I don't know what system they're using.
Okay, fair.
Whatever system you use, and however you get that beer into your boil kettle, you split it into 2, and then you start from there.
Perfect. So your 1 pail would basically be just get it up to boil, nothing else to do, add your hop additions and all that.
Yeah.
The other one you'd steep. Would you still steep for, what's the recommended time you would steep for to get the most out of it?
In mini mashes, it's 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes.
Well, and that's what mainly I'm asking too, because the mini mashes require a certain temperature for that. You're saying the wort would probably already be there from your sparge at a temperature that's adequate to get conversion from the steep.
Or if it's slightly off, I mean, you've got it in your boil kettle. You just got to turn the temperature up if you need it higher. So.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to cover bases because this is a very unique kind of thought exercise. I'm just trying to cover my bases. That's all, because I would think that you would want, if it were me and my very Neanderthal kind of brain, it's like, okay, I'm going to do it like I would do a partial mash where I steep first and then I transfer. But yeah, it wouldn't matter, I guess, is what you're saying. At the end of the day,
I mean, just all it is wort. Whatever you do to it until you start putting hops in, it'd be fine.
We should try something like this just to see how it would turn. I want Zach to do it. I like when other people do things and report back if the Todd Burns method.
We could do it easy. I mean, not easy, but we could definitely do it. I mean, on our system, all we'd have to do, I have a double propane setup. As long as, and we've got plenty of kettles, it wouldn't be hard to do.
You do have plenty of kettles.
It.
Yeah, and you even have plenty of, don't you? I think you still have an electric kettle too, up top. I'm just saying, like to.
I do. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could get it done.
You know, you could do it. I bet you could even do it in coolers if you wanted to.
Yeah, that'd be a good choice.
Yeah.
But that would stay in there long enough till you get the first one done and do the second one if you didn't want to have two vessels.
That is a good point. Ooh, that is a good point. Yeah, you're right. Because then you just, yeah. Oh. Well, like I said, if y'all rewind a little, get the Todd Burns method down, try it, Zach specifically, or anyone there, or if you've already done it, let us know in the comments below if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, or maybe we'll do it. Todd doesn't brew anymore, so he's not going to do it. But
well, I've only brewed twice this year, guys. So.
Shut up.
Yep.
Dude, it's already halfway through, or we're past halfway.
It hasn't been that long since I brewed. I know you're joking, but the last thing I brewed was at Kolsch. It wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was March or April.
What?
It was April. It was April.
No.
You brewed the Kolsch in April.
I've got it right here in front of me, so I'll tell you the last time I brewed.
Tell me. Yeah. Pull it up, man.
I blame Julie.
You know what, though,
true.
James? I've been waiting for you to get relationship gut, and you haven't gotten it, okay? I've been waiting, man. I want
Today is the 8th.
Yeah, when'd you brew?
And June, July. It's been just right at 2 months ago.
Wait, May? What day
May
of May?
25th.
Okay,
May
so all of June, all of July.
June, July. Yeah, I mean, it's a little over 2 months and a week.
That's a long time for you, pal.
It is a long time for me.
When's the last time you cleaned your lines?
It's been 2.5 weeks.
Oh, disgusting.
Oh,
man.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at my whole brew schedule here. It's actually not that long for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't have all of the brews in here.
There's no way you do. There's no way.
But the brew I did before that one was the Mine Pilsner. That was I brewed that in July.
You called that one Mine Pilsner?
Yeah, Mine Pilsner. It was my Pilsner. So it's my MEIN German Pilsner.
I need to let you come up with the names. I'll do the artwork. I need you, because like people do like the artwork, especially Todd's ESB this year, ever since you changed it. You with the English top hat, and I just need to add a monocle to you, I think. But you come up with the names. I'll start coming up with the artwork. It'll be a winning combination. Anyway, Zach, again, final reminder, guys, if and when you call and leave a voicemail that we take on a future episode, which I probably will, I'm getting desperate, to 325-305-6107. Get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Gentlemen, that's all I have for y'all this week. I know, Todd, you're about to hit the road for your daughter's birthday. Tell her we said happy birthday.
Thanks.
And then you guys have a great weekend. I'll see y'all on Monday at headquarters.
All right. See
See
ya.
ya.
Bye.
And that
Bye-bye.
will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. But even better, have I mentioned before on this show, call it in to 325-305-6107 and get yourself that $25 gift card. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntins Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntins, give them a try by joining the Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you so much for listening.